Of course. Thank you.
Billy.
Here.
Too bad it's on huh?
No, that's for tap.
The bag is for tap. No, I don't think that. Look here, Mallory.
Cut.
Are you excited to be out of the way? Man, ain't it great to be out there? Or you
What does she think she's sitting with? She said, give me a crack. You don't need to. These are dark.
Well, I think we're live.
Live?
Yeah, I always go about 5 minutes early or so, just in case.
Just in case I'm not working, that's smart.
I think you.
Ah!
I had that purple paper. I have a towel issue. Like a lavender purple. Everybody lives in my house. No matter what direction you're facing, you can take it on. How much? 35 bucks. Everywhere you live. Because I have a towel issue. Because you're late. No, I just want to know date time. Date time.
That's a bit of a psychosis.
I think. Thank you, Mr. Long.
This baby is kicking kids.
Oh, there it goes. Psychosis. If I was a snitch, it would have bit me. I'm not psychotic.
What's up?
Psychosis. Huh? What is it? Psychosis.
It's another.
Oh, it's like a mental state.
What you want? What you want, Leah?
Psychosis.
Do you want one?
I know psychosis.
No. I got it. I feel my stomach. He's visiting enough. Jumping around.
Yeah, you were so good.
What you got on your shirt?
There ain't no telling.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Some of everything.
All right. Well, we're live, but if you have, we haven't started yet, but we have started with the sign-in sheets.
Yes, sir.
Where is it?
If you will,
I'm right here.
make sure that to sign in when you sign your name
I'm
is
happy to see
there,
your beautiful face.
that they are legible. If I can't read it, someone in this class has I can read their handwriting, but they still put their name out beside it. Sometimes they print it. That's really helpful. I appreciate that. Thank you. So you know whether or not your handwriting is legible. If it's not, print out beside it there, or take a little small picture of yourself and put it over there. Whatever it takes, so that I can tell who you are, or you won't get credit for the class. So let's do that. Over at South, we have a lady there that's taking care of getting the sign-in sheets and all of that stuff. And you know who you are, so we don't have to mention that your name is Miss Kim. We don't want to have to do that to, embarrass you and put you out there and all of that. But if you would see today that Miss Sierra gets those, she is scanning them to me so that I can do the notes for that class. So she couldn't find the ones for yesterday, and so she needs those, and she needs today's as well. So we've got a couple of minutes before we get started. So today's going to be a really good one, but we'll maybe I don't feel well, and there's all these sick people around here. So this one may not take but about 3, maybe 4 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Then I'm gonna go home.
I believe that when I see it.
Yeah.
For this?
Yeah.
Are you feeling that bad?
Say it again.
Are you feeling that bad?
I don't feel too many good. No, I don't. I haven't felt good in about a week.
Your cheeks are a little peachy.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of flushed and all of that stuff. My feet don't smell good at all. So I don't know. But just to allay any fears, I have taken the COVID test about 5 or 6 times already.
Thank God you don't have that.
The lady here that does the COVID test is now convinced I just like sticking sticks up my nose.
Well, are they in date?
It is, you know, rather exciting, but it's not something I really want to do. But as I understand, they're going to test today. I don't know.
It's a virus that has to run its course. People are freaking out for nothing.
Well, the next door neighbor died from it.
Well, I mean, you can die from pneumonia too.
Yeah,
Don't be
they-
insensitive.
I'm not being insensitive, I'm being realistic. It's just the flu and pneumonia combined.
Well, all right. It's 9 o'clock, so we're going to get started. So let's pay really close attention and all of that stuff. Look, everybody should have brought their book to class, right?
Oh, yeah.
So some of your books are a little bit different than everybody else's books, and that's okay. That is the attempt that we're making to make sure that everybody has a book.
What page are we on?
Well, right now, we're going to be over in the 60s, but right now I want us to look at page, wait a minute,
Is it Friday?
21.
Page 21.
Yeah, it doesn't have one. You'll have to go to page 20 and jump over one. And we're going to come to this little deal out here. This shows you the 4 main things that we here are focusing on, okay? This is what we're focusing on. So, the first one is physical health. And look, this is the 5th week that I go through the book and through the book. So we're back around to the first one again. So we're talking about physical health this morning. Why is it important for us to know about physical health in our recovery?
So we can take care of ourselves.
We need to learn to take care of ourselves, and here's the deal as well. We haven't been taking care of ourselves. You know, we put the stuff we put into our body demanded that we not take care of ourselves, but rather demanded that we put junk in our body. Every addiction is like that. If you're addicted to shrimp, then you're going to put shrimp in your body to the point where it is not good for you. Right? Can you eat too many shrimp?
Yes.
I love shrimp.
I do too. I do too, but you can eat too many of them. And then, you know, the second thing is emotional health, and we will be getting on emotional health again on Monday morning. And then we talk about spiritual health, and then we talk about family health. These 4 places, these four things, okay, there's a good word out there for it, but things will work. These 4 things that we focus on in this program are very important. If we can get a handle on those 4, we got this thing licked. But we got to get a handle on those 4. So we're like I said, we're looking at physical health today, and we've been looking at it really, coping skills and physical health and all of that stuff kind of goes together. So we're going to be looking at our physical health just a little bit, and we're going to look at one of the easiest ways in the world to help with my physical health, right? So we were on page 62 when we quit. So we're going to look at page 62 really quickly because we're not staying there. We have other things to do. But I want us to have something to be said about our book every time we come in here. We want to have our book, and we want to be going through our book. So on page 62, we're going to just finish up real quickly what we started on 61, some of the things that our addiction has caused us. Do you know what resources are in the community that could provide you some help? What are the community resources out there that we could tap into to get some help?
Like the places.
You said AA. That's good.
Spindletop.
Spindletop. That's really good. What else is out there? Groups. Just groups. Yeah, ADAC. What else? Church is a good place to go to get some
Doors.
Get some
Doors.
support. Doors. Yeah. How about community outreach? How about the the place where you go to find work, the workforce.
Yeah, workforce, yeah.
That's a good family resource. That's a good resource for me if I need some help in that. They will actually help you get a job. How about Goodwill? Goodwill's a pretty good place. You know, they had some issues back there just a little while back. They had some issues because they weren't paying a lot. You know, they don't. The people who work there are usually people with disabilities, and they don't pay a whole lot of money there. But those people have a job and they have purpose, and they have a. Did y'all know that the CEO, the guy that started Goodwill, is blind? Yeah, he's blind, so that's why he wanted to do something to help people with disabilities, and so that's what he did. So that's what Goodwill's all about: is helping people with disabilities. But in helping people with disabilities, they help me. I can go to the Goodwill store and get all kinds of good stuff. Yeah, you know, I haven't been in a while, but I have gone there quite a bit, and I thoroughly enjoy going there. There's good stuff in the Goodwill. Yeah, I like that. So there's all sorts of resources. Is it important for me to know those resources?
Yes.
Why? It is important, but why is it important?
So what kind of help you need?
I might need it.
Yeah.
I might need it. Yeah, I might need it. I have a $10 bill in my car. Hidden in my car where my wife doesn't know where it is. You know, $10 bill. Why do I have that $10 bill? I may need it. I might need that. You never know when you're on. You know, you're going home and all of a sudden you pass by Dairy Queen and you get for $3 you can get a chocolate covered cone. So you never know when you're going to need that, but you never know when you're going to need it. So we don't need to poo-poo any of those places. You know, I'm never going. You might. You just might. I'm not going. You might. Yeah. So we might need those things. So it's good to know that those resources are out there. We need to make it our business, not only to know that they're out there, but to know where they are out there. I need to know. And look, I may not ever go to any of those places. I may not ever need their services, but there's a lot more people out there than me.
Yeah.
You know, and you may run into somebody that's freshly in their recovery or somebody that's just having a hard time right now. People have hard times. Y'all ever had a hard time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've had some hard times. You know, on the third day you haven't eaten, then you start to have hard times. You know, that's when you start looking at pine cones and saying, "Man, I wonder how that tastes." It's got to be better than like nothing. You know. So in those times, you need to know where those places are. Back when I was heavily into my addiction and all of that kind of stuff, both in Mississippi and for a little while here in Texas, I was in a small town, and there was just nothing. You know, there's just nothing. There is now. There is now, but there wasn't in those times. So we got some of them that we're familiar with, and we know where they are. Of the resources, you know, do you use them consistently? Have you used any of them consistently? Is it important that we use them consistently? No, it's just important that we know that they are there, and they can fulfill a need. If I have a need that I cannot fulfill myself, right? Now there is one or two of them that I fulfill, that I use consistently. Church, I'm consistent. I was in church last week, and then AA, go to AA on a consistent basis. So there are some of them that I do. Now other situations I take other people to that need them. How about the food bank?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And then they have this place in Nederland, community care outreach.
Yeah. Okay, there's a place in there. And usually there's a place anywhere. Anywhere there's a church, there's usually somebody who wants to help. You know, we have a food pantry in our church. And one of the things we give, and I think I said this the other day, but one of the things we give away a lot of is peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
I love peanut butter. I could eat peanut butter just, it is, but we buy sugar-free, low-fat peanut butter.
Okay, yeah.
You know what it tastes like?
Cardboard.
sugar-free, low-fat peanut.
Yeah.
You know, and
Cardboard.
some of you can get it sugar-free, low-fat peanut butter without salt in it.
Ew.
Why would you eat that? Why would you eat that? But you know, I do. So I put sugar-free syrup in it, sugar-free jello. I'm not jello, but jelly in it, and mix it all up. And what does that make? What does that taste like?
Yum yum.
Sugar-free.
Sugar-free. I mean, it's not
Like that crushed honeycomb.
it's not the best thing, but see, you have to use positive self-talk. You know, all the time I'm putting some little crackers that are saltine crackers without salt on them and all of that stuff, and I'm eating it, and I put that sugar on there, and I get that. I mean, I put that junk on there, and I get that up, and I look at it and say, "Man, that's gonna be good." Man, that's positive self-talk. I really like this, and I eat it, and that's good. I like that. So we got to keep.
As a diabetic,
Gotta
you
keep
can't have
doing it.
salt.
Got to keep
Dr.
doing it.
Manor?
Say it some more.
As a diabetic, you can't eat salt.
No, you're not supposed to eat a lot of salt. I do eat salt. I eat sugar. I eat all of that kind of stuff. But you're supposed to lower your intake. That we all use too much salt, too much sugar, too much junk, too much cigarettes.
But don't too much salt go with cholesterol.
Yeah, and it'll do all sorts of things. It'll raise up salt. Will raise up your blood pressure. Raise up all of that. Say it again.
I said I detox without salt.
Well, I understand. I like salt myself, but I've had to detox over a lot of things. So one of the things, look, we're talking this morning about our physical health. So now I know why you sat in the back. Now I know. Now I got it. Yeah. So we're talking about our physical health, and yesterday and the day before we talked about one or two things that was good for our physical health. What was that?
Exercise.
Exercise, way we eat, a healthy diet, sleeping well, all of that is good for our health, right? And we should be paying attention to that, right? We should be paying attention to what we eat every day. I have to because I'm diabetic. I've gone 2 whole days now with no sugar. So today will be the 3rd day. So that's a long that's a long time for me.
How long can you go without sugar?
Well, I should be able to go the rest of my life. It's nothing but something that's going to kill me. But I don't know anybody else that uses something on a daily basis that's going to eventually kill them. Do you?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, you do. Every one of you do.
I mean,
And we're gonna be talking about that. So today it's all about our health. And we're all about, look, we need to eat right. How many people eat right? I watched folks this morning in the kitchen stuffing stuff in their face that shouldn't go in there, right? I mean, every one of us just about eat. I don't eat cereal, but a lot of people eat cereal. You like cereal? Yeah. Cereal is so good. Yeah. You know what they use to color those cereals?
Sugar.
There's a lot of sugar in those things too.
Artificial
petroleum products are used to color your stuff. All of the reds and the greens and all of that kind of stuff comes from petroleum products. Mr. Kennedy, our Secretary of Health, he's outlawing all of that, and they're having to take that out. So they're going to get it out. We're the only country in the world that does that. Every other country uses things like blueberries, raspberries to get the color out and put that in their cereal. We don't do that because we'll do it. Other countries say, I'm not eating that. Well, I like that. That petroleum stuff, man. You can't beat a little bit of petroleum stuff in the morning for breakfast. And so we'll do that. And, but right now they're starting to outlaw it and all of that kind of stuff.
I didn't have a clue that that was in there.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was like marshmallow.
Yeah, it's in there. We need to research, and that's a good point. She said she didn't have a clue that was in our food. Here's the deal. We should research what we eat before we eat what we eat. Right? If you're going to eat a monkey, you need to know whether that monkey has a disease or something. Well, before too long, we're going to be talking about HIV and all of that stuff. Where did HIV come from?
Monkeys.
It started in Africa, and it jumped over from the monkeys. They had SIV, which is simian immunodeficiency virus, and became HIV. So you ought to know if you're going to eat a monkey whether that monkey has SIV or not, right? So if you eat a Pop-Tart, how many people eat Pop-Tarts?
We get them for breakfast.
We have them every morning for breakfast because we love them. Yeah, here's the deal. I ought to know what's in that thing before I put that thing in this thing. Right? Does that make sense?
What's in it?
It does. That thing is 99.9% sugar, and then carbohydrates take up the rest of it. So it is decidedly 3 of them would kill me. 4 of them at one time will kill you. So they're horrible. They're terrible. What is the one thing? So that's food. We need to eat the right food. We talked about the colors of food yesterday. We need to have 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night. If you're not getting that, start working on that. It'll happen. One of the first things you need to start telling yourself, I need to sleep 6 to 8 hours tonight, and then go to bed. Will that help you?
Yes.
It will, because it locks into your brain and it'll help you sleep that amount of hours. And then we need to do something that we have all religiously avoided, don't want it in our lives. We don't want to exercise. We feel like we get enough exercise chewing. We chew. We breathe. We need to exercise. We need to do we need to do something to cause our heart rate to go up a little bit.
Can we talk about maybe implementing or see if Dr. whoever it is that does the plans here or the rules, if we could put in some like a morning walk or an afternoon, well, afternoon's hot, but like we don't do any exercise here. There's no sports like basketball court or volleyball court net. A volleyball net would be fun or something to get.
And I will.
Tetherball would even be fun. Anything.
I will talk to folks about that and see if we can't do something. But look,
you guys are more active than we are.
Well, maybe so, but let me share this with you that the guys have not waited on somebody to come and build a program for them. They've built their own. They go outside and they do what they do. We have a magnificent, wonderful facility here. I walked it yesterday. It's like a state park. My wife and I go to state parks all the time, and it's like a state park right around in here. And one thing that's really good, the lady who owns the house next door to us has cleaned it all up back there, so it's something else nice to look at. So you can walk around and around and around this facility. So you don't have to have somebody to fix you a program. Get up in the morning, eat the junk you're going to eat, and then see if you can't walk some of that off just walking around here before group. So that's some stuff we can do. It's up to us to get into our bodies and into our lives what we need into our lives. I had a fella tell me the other day that he thought it was really crazy. He said, "Why doesn't the government come in and force us not to use alcohol or drugs?" Will that work?
No.
Good God, no, they do that already. They can where's the only place you can use alcohol?
In a bar.
In a bar that is licensed to sell it, or in your own home. You can't walk down the street with it. You can't drive down the road with it. You can't go to the park and drink it. You can't go in your boat and drink it. You can't do any of those things. The government is controlling it. How about where can you use cocaine?
Nowhere. Everywhere.
They're controlling that. People use it everywhere. But they're not supposed to. So that government control doesn't work, right? Does not
There's
work.
control places to go get high.
Yes, in New York.
Yeah, there are.
Yes,
There are
is.
some
Like New York
control
and all
places
that.
you can
Yes.
go
Oh,
and do
wow.
that. So anyway, what is the one thing, y'all know who the Surgeon General is?
We all know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
He's the one
guy
that's got
that's
that
the
warning on
Surgeon
cigarettes.
General, and he said that if we stop doing one thing, 98% of our hospital visits, clinic visits, and health problems would disappear overnight.
Smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? If we stopped smoking cigarettes, those things would just go away. So we're going to talk today about smoking cessation. Now, let me tell you this. How many people here are full grown? Everybody in here full grown, right? Yeah, is it my business if you smoke cigarettes?
No.
No. But look, let me tell you this. I am an addiction counselor, right? You think maybe that nicotine is addicting?
Yes.
Let me share a little statistic with you. Nicotine is the most addicting drug in the world. There's nothing more addicting than nicotine. That is why it is so hard to stop using. So it is my business. Now here's the deal. Is it legal?
Yes.
It's not as socially acceptable as it used to be. Used to be you could smoke anywhere in the world, and they thought it was cool. Y'all remember the Marlboro Man?
Yes.
Yeah, you know he died from lung cancer.
No.
His last time on television, he came up out of the back. He was pulling an oxygen tank, had all this stuff stuck on him, up his nose and everything, and he pulled up there and he said, and he had his cowboy hat on. He looked like death warmed over, and he said, "Hello there, I'm the Marlboro Man. Don't smoke. Don't smoke. It ain't good." And he died about 2 weeks later.
Oh my goodness.
So that this stuff kills. But even though we know it kills, we still do it. But it's legal. It's not nearly as socially acceptable as it used to be, but it is still in some areas, in some places, socially acceptable. It is allowed here, right? Worst drug in the world, but it is allowed here at this facility. So here's the deal. I can't legally tell you you can't smoke. I can't do that. But what I can do as a counselor, I can give you the information about the drug that you are putting into your body so that when you go out here right after when break comes and y'all run to the back, smoke 4 cigarettes before we have to smoke the thing again, you will have an informed decision that you make when you go out there. It's not, well, I don't know what this is going to do to me, but you'll know what it's going to do to you. So I want to share just a couple of things with you.
That's what I'm
This is where we're smoking. She's smoking so much that you can't even see but about half of it because she's smoking. She got it all over the place. This is our pack of cigarettes. Death, financial ruin cigarette. They're going to kill you if you smoke them long enough. You might live to be, 95 years old, but you're going to die. And it's going to be from cigarettes. If you stop smoking, you could probably live to, 98 or something like that. And this over here on the side of it says, kill me. Here's what we need to do, which is just stop it. Just cut it out. Just stop it. It's the worst addiction there is, right? So how many people you think last year died from murder? People were just tolerating them. How many people you think did that?
3,000.
3,000 in the whole United States.
300,000.
3,000.
I said the whole world.
300,000.
About 158,000.
What? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, about 158,000. How many people died from suicide?
From who? Suicide?
I'd say 58.
222,000.
Well, that's really specific. It was about 38,000.
Oh, okay.
A lot of that 38,000 does not include veterans.
Oh, wow.
There was about 230,000 veterans.
Oh, wow.
Because of the war?
How about just from normal, like you get old, and you just fall over one day and somebody comes up and says, well, look, he croakified. What was wrong with him? He gets old. When you get 95, 96, it's kind of your job, So how many people just from natural causes, just from old age? It's a natural death.
13,000? 33.
Usually about 103
Oh,
That's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's a lot
people
more
just
than I thought.
live a long life and then croakify. Yeah, they just do that kind of stuff. So, all other causes. What do you think?
Smoking.
Stuff happens. So we got about 30,000 people that just kind of, they have a stroke or they have something. I tell you all
What
about
about a
my
car wreck?
friend. Yeah, heart attack stuff. I had a friend die like on Sunday. He's 43 years old. And I'm still not sure. We don't know. I think he overdosed, but we don't know. And then there's accidents. Accidents at the home. Accident cars, motorcycles, airplane. All those
200,000.
something like about 40,000
Oh, wow.
die a year because of that. Somebody is really good with math. Y'all want to add all that up?
8, 9, 16.
Somebody got it already? What's that?
28 plus 20. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17. Write it down. 318,000.
It's about 308,000, something like that. So, last year, how many people died from the smoking of cigarettes?
500,000.
308,000. About a million.
Well, in the United States, about 580,000 people
Jesus.
died. So
Wow.
You see the
Just
point
cigarettes?
of all that math is that more people die from using tobacco in all of its forms. Now, not just smoking, but vaping, using it, chewing tobacco. I've had people tell me, well, I don't smoke now. I'm smarter than that. I use chewing. Is that a good plan to get you? No, because it causes cancer in your whole mouth can rot off and all of that stuff. And besides that, it also causes all the other cancers that cigarettes themselves cause. Because as you breathe, which you are apt to do, even while you're chewing tobacco, that goes into your lungs and that
in your stomach
and all that stuff gets you. Say that again.
I said, and in your stomach.
Yes, and it'll give you all sorts of stuff. So more people die from the use of tobacco in all of its forms, cigars, pipes, whatever, than all other forms of death combined. That's wild. That's why the Surgeon General said if we quit, all the rest of this stuff is going to moderate 1,000 times. If we quit. There's a few things I want to share with y'all. Like I said, and I have no doubt, because I will tell you, I have seen, I've done this a lot back in the day, and I have seen some people say, I didn't know that. Crud, I didn't know that. So I'm going to stop smoking. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, if I give you the information and you say, well, I'm going to quit smoking, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's healthy for you, and we're working on our health. So that's a physical health big deal. And if you can do that, that's going to help a lot. Here's the other thing. What if you get all of the information and then you say, I'm not going to quit?
That's your problem.
Is that okay?
No.
That's your business.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm not telling you have to quit smoking. That's your business. You're full grown. But what I can tell you is when you go out to light up that cigarette, you'll have an understanding of what you're doing. You need to have full understanding of what's going on with you. So there's a couple of things. There's not a whole lot. I want to share a couple of things with you. And this is smoking cessation. Tobacco is associated with several different behaviors that are very closely related. This is one of the things that we need to understand, that tobacco use is a learned behavior.
Yeah.
You didn't just wake up one morning totally addicted to nicotine. Somebody learned you that.
Yeah,
Somebody taught you that. Yeah. I started smoking when I was about 17. I was an old bloomer. My brother started when he was 5. Dad tried to get me to. I was more into drinking than I was into smoking. So my brother smoked for 50 years. He started when he was 5. He was 55 years old when he stopped. So he finally did quit, but he smoked for for 50 years.
Wow.
That's a long time. But this is a learned behavior. What's the good thing about a learned behavior?
It can be unlearned.
It can be unlearned. Yeah, I can get away from it if I decide that I want to do it. Tobacco use is also a triggered behavior. There are things that happen in our lives that cause us to want to use.
Stress.
Certain activities, times of day, may make you think about having a cigarette, chewing tobacco, or whatever. I had a guy in my tobacco cessation class that we were having about 2 or 3 years ago, and I noticed he was looking at this cup a lot, but he wasn't just looking at it, he's spitting in it. He had a okay, that's good stuff. So there's some things here's some of the things that can trigger you real quickly. Just waking up in the morning. This is a hard addiction, and you have been off the tobacco for whatever amount of time that you've been asleep. After meals, we want to smoke after meals, during breaks, driving, talking on the phone, working on the computer, drinking coffee, drinking alcohol.
We're aggravated.
Say it again.
When we're aggravated.
When we're aggravated.
Sad.
When we're sad. All of those things. Yeah, any kind of emotional thing. When I was drinking, I was smoking a couple of packs a day, but when I was drinking, I would smoke 4 packs. I was a chain smoker. I smoked a lot. Before bedtime, waking up during the night, stress, pain, feeling anxious, angry, impatient, seeing somebody else smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why if you watch television, you don't see people smoking on there anymore, unless you go way back in the back in the 70s and stuff. They smoked a lot in those movies, but now you won't see them do it. It's against the law. They don't allow that anymore. Why?
Because of the death.
It's triggering you.
They don't want you to think it's cool.
They don't want you to, and mostly it's because
the children.
When kids see
Our
it,
young teens are starting it more.
Really smoking.
now, I will tell you this: there's a good trend. There's a good trend going on right now. Less and less young people are beginning to smoke.
Oh yeah, it's gone down a lot.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But why do you think that is?
Because of the vaping.
Because they've seen their parents do it.
Vaping.
Some of them don't want to do it.
Well,
They have a good program too in schools.
they have a lot of programs in schools. There's a lot of stuff on television. There's a lot of stuff on Facebook, everything in the world. This is why smoking is stupid.
Oh yeah, they showed like the graphic gory details.
Oh, yeah.
Nowadays, yeah.
Well, if you go to England, I go to England every time I get an opportunity, and I'm going to go before too long. But if you go to England, they have the packs of cigarettes. Our packs of cigarettes, if you read the side of them, it says, "Don't do this. Don't use this. This causes cancer. If you use this drug, it's going to eventually give you cancer." The packs of cigarettes in England. I was in Hexham, England, and there's a road that goes right through the graveyard, and you have to go through the graveyard. That's where it's a path, and that's how you have to get from one road to the other. And I'm walking through the graveyard, and very apropos, I found an empty pack of cigarettes laying in the graveyard. So how wild is that? So I kicked it, and I looked at it, and I picked it up. It has an actual picture of a diseased lung on the front of that pack of cigarettes, and it says, if you smoke these cigarettes, this is what's going to happen to your lung. Wow. Very graphic, and what was really tragic is that it was an empty pack. Somebody looked at that horrible lung, this is what I'm going to do to myself, and then they smoked the whole pack. Okay. So things like this, look, we share this with you before we go farther. Things like this class, do they work?
What do you mean?
Very seldomly. Every now and then somebody goes, I'm going to do the work to get this out of my life. Very seldom. Very seldom. If you're pregnant, certainly should not smoke. Smoking will do some horrible, terrible, nasty things to your children. They can be born. They can be born early. It's not when you're pregnant. and you're smoking, that's not secondhand smoke. That's firsthand. It goes right into your blood system and goes into their blood system. And it lowers their IQ. It lowers their life expectancy. It causes them to be born prematurely and with educational deficits. It's not a good thing. Y'all do.
I didn't smoke when I was pregnant.
So, anyway,
No, you're not that long.
feeling bored, watching television,
Who?
after completing a task,
Oh, that's
all of those things. So, there's some other ways that we can address those issues other than using tobacco. But there's a couple other things I want to share with you. One of the things that we ought to do is to move our cigarettes away from our immediate vicinity. Get them out of there. In both groups, I see two things. When you're getting close to time to go on break, cigarettes come from their hiding places and are put up on the top on the table where we can see them. And the cigarette at that point in time gets itself ready. It knows it's time for it to put another nail in your coffin. The other thing I've seen, and when this happens, I stop group. I haven't seen it at the North group, but I have seen it at South. Guys will put the cigarette in their mouth. Sit there with it in their mouth. It's not lit, but it's almost already smoked before they get it. So that's inappropriate. That don't happen. Don't do that. That. Look, okay. Not only are you triggering yourself, you're triggering other people. There may be somebody in that group that's decided, I'm not smoking anymore, and they watching you, so don't do that. So we need to move that stuff. If you keep your cigarettes in your back pocket, or you keep them in your shirt pocket or something, put them on the counter somewhere. That'll help you do that. Keep track of the cigarettes you smoke. Know what you're smoking. Know how much you're smoking. Now, I just want to tell you, look, we don't have a lot of time left in this portion of it, but I think we have time to go through this. This is really, really important. And I was going to say, I don't care if you quit smoking or not. That's not true. My hope for you, my desire for you would be that you get smart enough. And I'm not saying you're not smart, but what I'm saying is to get to a place where you make the decision for yourself. This is just not something I need to do. Okay? That's what I would like to see. But if you decide you're going to continue smoking, I'm not going to look down on you or anything like that. It's an addiction. It's really hard to get these addictions out of our lives. And here's the other thing. While I'm fighting my addiction to cocaine, is it a good idea to also at the same time fight my addiction to nicotine?
No.
Maybe not.
No.
Maybe not.
No.
Now, I did. I quit everything at one time. And so it can be done. But to have somebody say, look, we're going to force you not to do that. Are there places, are there treatment facilities where you cannot smoke?
Yes.
Yeah. Every TDCJ facility is set up that you don't smoke. And so if you're there for 3 months and you get out of there, is that addiction gone? No, it's just like any other addiction. It's never going to go away. When you're off cigarettes for 3 months, should you be okay then? Should you?
No.
You should be.
You should be.
You should be. But I don't know the statistics, but a lot of people that have gone through one of those non-smoking places hadn't smoked in 3 months when they get out. I've seen guys in prison been in there for years. First thing they do, go to the store and get some cigarettes and some ponies, and okay, let's get this thing started again. We go by and mark their bed. And he'll be back. Let's just keep this one warm. Cause he's coming. So here's some things I want you to know. Now, if this tells you you need to quit smoking, let me make my position totally, utterly clear. You need to quit smoking. Everybody on the face of the earth who smokes needs to quit smoking. I had a lady ask me, how many cigarettes is too many to smoke for a whole day's period, whole day long? How many? One. One, don't smoke anything. Your lungs are not meant for that. Your lungs are meant for oxygen, not just oxygen, meant for air. The combination of oxygen and whatever else comes up to make it air. So here's some of the things I want you to know. Y'all get a hold of this, and then you make your own decisions. Nicotine is a substance found naturally in tobacco, and nicotine causes feelings of pleasure. Does that sound familiar? What does our other drug do? Gives us feelings of pleasure. It causes relaxation or stimulation and stress reduction. That's something we all want. That's something we all need. But there's other things that we can do. But nicotine is the addictive part of the cigarette. Nicotine's what you're addicted to. But by itself, look, it's not harmful to you. Nicotine's not bad for you, unless you take like a million gallons of it. And if you take anything to excess, it's bad for you. Anybody know that carrots are good for you?
Yes.
Eat 7 pounds. Yeah, if you eat 7 to 12 pounds of them, they're not good for you. You'll get sick, give you the poops, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure about carrots being good for your eyes. That's an old wives' tale because rabbits eat carrots a lot, and they say, okay, that's why they can see at night. But here's the deal. It by itself is not harmful to your body. There are some other things that are found in tobacco. Those are the things which are bad for you.
It's the chemicals and things they put on that.
Formaldehyde.
Rat poison and all of that.
Formaldehyde, they put all kinds of chemicals on cigarettes, or on tobacco now.
Well, they always have. See how, and see what does that, these ladies back in the back are teaching my class for me, but what does that tell you?
How we listening?
Well, no, because y'all don't listen very well. But what it does tell us is that knowledge being power doesn't work for some people. Hey, there's formaldehyde, but I'm going to go smoke.
Right.
I'm going to go have one. Yes, ma'am.
Why is it then the nicotine? Okay, the nicotine is the addictive part. The other things in tobacco are bad, right? Like
it's like the chemicals and things.
Why is vaping worse then? Because
I'll get to that. And just why do you think? Look, we're going to talk a little bit about vaping, but vaping? Why do you think they came out with vaping?
To get us off cigarettes.
To get to the children.
No.
Less children were, and all kinds of flavors and all that kind of stuff. That's
No. That's all just been here recently. Juul came out with vaping back about 30 years ago, specifically to get people off of cigarettes.
Yeah.
And when you bought one, you got instructions with it. You used the Juul. It had a little bit of nicotine in it, and it dropped off over a period of time. And then it specifically told you, once your craving for nicotine has ended, stop using the Juul. Yep. We don't need to put anything in our lungs that's not meant to be in your lungs. And vaping causes a thing called popcorn lung.
So did TPC when it blew up?
Say it again.
What did you say?
Nothing.
I don't know. This is all that. Look, there's always a good excuse for bad behavior. I can always find some reason that it's okay for me to smoke.
Well,
I can always find some reason that it's okay for me to drink or okay for me to use cocaine. But, okay. That's your business. But vaping is not good for them. And like you said, they put all of these flavors and all of that kind of stuff in it. That's not necessarily to get children, because look at us in here. We all want vape. We ain't kids. We want to get that, whatever. We want something to go into our lungs. We want that to happen.
And isn't it like this is also addicting, like
It is
the
addiction,
movement?
Yeah, you get
hand to
addicted.
mouth.
You get addicted 4 or 5 different ways. You get addicted. You have the motion.
Yeah, the motion. That's what I was
You
looking
get
for.
addicted
Yeah.
to the behavior. You get addicted to having it's called an oral fixation.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people trying to quit. It's got a candy cane stuck in their mouth. It's not because they like candy canes. It's because they're trying to quit.
Right.
And they're fighting that oral fixation. Yes, ma'am.
I know. I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is relevant or not, but like it just proves how addicting they are. In jail, we'll get the cartridges, the cardboard cartridges from tampons, and put a little piece of tampon in there with toothpaste with muscle rub on it.
Yeah.
And close off the end, and we'll sit there all day long like it's a cigarette.
That's how I started my.
Mentally, it does.
We will inhale muscle rubs just because it's the closest thing we can get to a cigarette in jail. It's crazy.
We had a lot of crazy stuff happen out there. Let me finish this before. And see, and the reason that we are discussing things so openly and all of that kind of stuff is we have a lot of feelings that's surrounded about this addiction. You're mad at me already just because I'm teaching it. You don't want to listen to that. But this is just this. I didn't come up with this. The American Medical Association came up with this for veterans. This is them. And so at this point, there have been over 30,000 veterans go through the program to stop smoking. What does that tell you? Some of them got a hold of it. But there's a whole lot more veterans than that. We look at this big old number right here. A lot of them didn't get it. A lot of them don't. So if you don't want it, don't take it. It's like, one of these tests they're going to do today. They're sticking that thing up your nose. Don't want to do that, don't do that.
Everybody's got to take one of those.
They're not going to let you not do that. But anyway, let's go through this real quick. The addictive part of the tobacco is not harmful to you, but the other substances found in tobacco, wait a minute. The other substances found in tobacco and substances form when the tobacco burns. There's substances that are not in the tobacco, but they create themselves when you light the cigarette. There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke.
Holy.
This is why tobacco smoke as a second-hand
factor.
Yeah, that's why it's so bad. Y'all ever heard of third-hand smoke?
No.
Like
Secondhand.
on your clothes?
Yeah, that's when it gets on your clothes. You go outside and you smoke and all of that, and the crap gets on your clothes and all of that stuff. And then you come in and you grab your baby and you live your little baby person and you give them a big old whiff shot of all that stuff. So there's 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke, and at least 69 that are harmful to humans and can cause cell damage, cell death, and cancer. Some of the more harmful chemicals are these. I want to share with you the most harmful things in tobacco smoke that's going to get you. The first one's carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
Carbon monoxide.
Y'all know what carbon monoxide is?
It's a gas.
That's
It's
odorless gas.
Colorless, odorless gas comes out of the back of your car and all of that stuff. It's also poisonous to humans and to animals.
Yes.
The animal what's the Animal Rights Association? What's that called?
PETA.
Is that what it's called? Anyway, they've come out with a thing now that they really, really, really are up in arms about people who smoke with their pets in the room. They just don't, but it will kill them. So you got to be careful. It also has tobacco smoke has hydrogen cyanide in it.
Oh wow.
So what is hydrogen cyanide?
It's basically like
Another gas.
It is a gas.
The water vapor.
It'll kill you. Yeah, and we've all seen the secret agent bite down on the cyanide pill, and it'll kill you. You guys eat apples?
Yeah.
You y'all know there's little seeds in the middle of your apple.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever eaten those?
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Actually, if you bite into them, they got a pretty good little flavor. They have cyanide in them. If you eat enough of them, it will kill you. Yeah, there's a tiny, minute amount of cyanide in that apple seed.
How many
So-
would you have to
Is
eat?
that why you make that?
Well, I want to tell you, if you want to commit suicide, that's the best way. Just eat bushels and bushels of apples. It may take a minute, but you know. So this stuff, look, it's hydrogen cyanide. It's used to make synthetic fibers. We use it to make plastics. We also use it as a pesticide. Like you were saying earlier, we use it to kill mice. And we use it to kill roaches, and we use it to kill humans. We put it in a cigarette so that you won't know that you're being killed. But that's what that's for. It has ammonia in it.
Yeah.
And what is the ammonia? Ammonia, y'all know what ammonia is. We use it to clean with. It's a cleaner, all of that kind of stuff. And it causes, to humans, it is very irritating and it is very corrosive. It will get in when it gets into your body. It's the one that causes all of the sore throats and stuff. A smoker gets 30 times more upper respiratory issues, to include sore throats and stuff like that, than other people, than non-smokers. And a lot of that is because you're smoking, you're sucking in ammonia into your body. It has lead in it.
Yeah.
Lead, what does lead do?
Poison you.
It is poison. All of this stuff is poison, but lead causes, all of this causes COPD, but lead causes central nervous system damage. You know, if you have central nervous system issues, that means if your thinking will be clouded, you have some other things. It causes some movement problems. My wife has what's called tremors. Initial tremors, and she has high anxiety and all of that stuff, and it brings on those things. This stuff can help that to happen. How about cadmium? It has cadmium in it. What is cadmium? Cadmium is stuff that's kind of like mercury. Y'all know what mercury is?
Yeah.
Mercury is that liquid metal, and if you drink mercury, it's going to croakify you. Right? There was a guy that was working with that. Yes, ma'am?
What is the point of them putting all that extra stuff?
We're going to talk about that. Yeah. There's a real good reason for it.
Really?
Like mercury, cadmium is just like mercury. Not just like mercury, but it is a metal that's a liquid metal. And what it does is affect your kidneys. When you get kidney cancer and stuff like that from smoking, it comes from the cadmium. Ma'am?
So couldn't they just make cigarettes that don't have all that in it?
Well, they could, but we'll talk about that in a minute, and they wouldn't be the same. It has polonium-220 in it. What is polonium-220?
Is
that close to
you rate the elements? It sounds like
Radiation?
Yeah, it's radioactive. It is polonium-220 is a rare, highly radioactive and volatile gray, silver, soft, liquid metal. It is radioactive.
Oh my God.
They have to have specific licensure to deal with radioactive isotopes so that they can put them in your smoke.
Wow.
It's crazy stuff. It causes cancer. It causes all sorts of crazy mess. It's going to get you. It also has arsenic in it. So what is arsenic?
Poison.
Very poisonous. It's also causes cancer. It will kill you if you have enough. We also use arsenic as a pesticide as well. When the guy comes out and sprays underneath your house, then a lot of times it has that arsenic in it. We have a guy come around here. Have y'all seen him? Comes around and sprays the stuff. I've seen him over at South, and he'll come in and he'll spray everywhere. And he came up by me, and I'm telling him, don't be spraying that stuff around me,
Don't
dude.
some of have hair
Don't
dye?
get that stuff on my shoes. Don't get that stuff on Donald. He said, "Oh, this is organic. There's nothing in this." I said, "Well, drink a cup of it. Take a couple of swigs. Shoot yourself in the face with it." But that stuff is, and he did. He didn't drink any of it, but he got some. All it didn't, So it's organic. And we don't see a lot of bugs over there, so I'm assuming it works pretty well. So, but this stuff with arsenic in it, it works really well, doesn't it? It will kill bugs, it will kill mice, and it will kill people. So you get a little minute amount of arsenic every time you do it. Your cigarette makes you feel real good, but after you've been smoking a while, you don't feel good. I mean, people who smoke a lot you don't feel well, and the reason you don't feel well is because you're not well.
Poison in your body.
Or in your body, you're not well. And it has benzene in it. What's benzene? That's the guy that lived down the road. His name is Benzene. No. So what is benzene?
Benzene.
Benzene is a solvent. And what benzene does, it causes cells in your body not to work correctly.
Oh, holy moly. I wonder.
Doctor's appointment.
I know you got a doctor's appointment. Tell him you quit smoking. That'll give him some.
Not that kind of doctor.
Benzene. It's a solvent that causes cells not to work correctly.
Right.
Now, this young lady was a bit more demonstrative about it, but most people actually become defensive when somebody says something about their addiction.
Yeah, sometimes.
They do, and it's not just cigarettes; it's any kind of addiction. You can't tell me why that's true. Not trying to, just giving you the information. And do with it what you want. All right. Yeah, all right.
Where that actually?
Oh, you can't tell. Oh, okay. Too late. That been done already, So one more little thing in here, and then we'll have a break. The benzene is a solvent. It causes your cells not to work correctly. It causes the cells of your body. So you missed that little bit, but it causes the cells in your body not to be able to communicate with one another. So the cells of your body are going, "What we doing? What we doing?" And I don't know. I can't tell you what we're doing because she's smoking. So the last one is it has formaldehyde in your cigarette. So what is formaldehyde?
That's what they put in dead. That's what they put in dead people.
That's what they put in dead people. And this is the only one that I'm in agreement with. This is one I'm thinking we should be. If you're going to smoke and kill yourself, you might as well get the formaldehyde started already, right? You're going to need some more of it later on, right? But here's the deal. It's also used to make adhesives. What's an adhesive? Glue. It's used to make glue. It's used to keep people from rotting away. All of those things. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Why? I know this doesn't really have anything to do with it. It has to do with glue. Why do they say that they use horses to make glue?
They do use horses to make glue.
But how?
Well, if you here's now this has nothing to do with this group.
I know.
At all.
I'm just curious.
But we're trying to get ourselves away from our addiction. Let's talk about making glue out of horses. Huh? Don't talk about my smoking. Let's talk about they make glue out of horses. They put formaldehyde on them and make glue out of them.
Is that really what they do?
No.
I don't know how. I don't know how.
I've heard that too, though. It's
So we
something
were
that I've
talking
heard.
about adhesive, so I was like, there's got to be a...
Yeah, that's your addiction trying to get you away from somebody trying to tell you not to do that. Look, here's the deal. Even though it's not burned, smokeless tobacco contains the same harmful chemicals. Other products that deliver them, other products and devices that deliver nicotine, including electronic cigarettes and vapes, can be harmful to you as well. We will stand and fight for our addiction. Even though it's killing our children, even though it's killing us, even though it's killing our pets, we'll stand up and say, "I got the right." Okay.
That's true though.
See, but at least we know all of the stuff we're putting in it. Somebody asked, I think it was you, asked, why would they do that? So why do you think the government's not doing it? Tobacco companies are doing it.
Yeah, because they want you to smoke because they can make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want you to smoke, but the nicotine's going to keep you smoking.
Yeah.
So why do they put all of this other junk in there?
To preserve cigarettes.
To population control, so some of
Population control, yeah. No.
That's
All
a
of this,
conspiracy theory.
For the flavor of the cigarette.
all of this stuff they've spent years and years and years figuring out how to do two things. One of them is to flavor the cigarette to make you want to, the nicotine's going to force you to do it, but now you're going to want to do it because it has this flavor, And the second thing is to keep it on the shelf longer.
Yeah,
It gives it a
Longer shelf life.
longer shelf life. So if you go buy some cigarettes, y'all ever had a stale cigarette?
Yeah.
There's some of them, I told y'all about the girl that had the cigarettes in her. I smoked them after a while, and they were been in there for years, so they just really wasn't good. But this stuff here is meant to keep them fresh
On the shelf.
sounding, fresh tasting. So that's why they do it. And I've had people ask me, don't they know it's going to kill you?
Yeah, they don't care.
Why don't they care?
Because they're making money.
Yeah, as long as I can make a profit. And look, y'all don't get offended. If you want to get offended, just go eat a bug, okay? Eat a bug, and that'll take the offense completely out. Look, as long as we are dumb enough to put it in our bodies, they'll make it, they'll sell it.
Oh yeah.
They don't have a problem with it because they know that there's people out there who will do it. Same thing with alcohol. Alcohol is poison. Alcohol is going to kill you. And you put alcohol in your body, it destroys your cells. It does all sorts of nasty things to you. Does that mean we're going to quit drinking?
No.
No, because we want to feel goofy.
Pleasure.
We want to feel goofy. We want to change our reality because we don't like who we are or who we're with. So we change our reality by using some type of mood-altering drug. And even if the people tell you, look, you use this, it's going to kill you. I don't care if I do that. All right, we got to go on break. You got?
Yeah, let's go on break.
We're going to go on break. We'll be back in about 16 minutes after. What was that?
What is what's in oleander that makes the flavor?
That what again?
Oleander.
Oleander? I've heard of that, but
Can you find out what it is that's in oleanders that makes it dangerous? Like I didn't know hydrogen,
Whatever it is. Apples. That's
that's me. Yeah. So we'll stop eating apples, but we'll smoke.
Somebody does call it, but she don't answer the phone.
Yeah, if you can look at the let us know.
I've always wondered what is it in the oleander.
But there was somebody I can call.
I stopped smoking once.
Well, what did I miss? Let's catch me up.
Oh no, you're.
Well, as far as the smoking, I really am not a smoker. Well, we could talk vaping. It's the same thing. But as soon as I leave out of here, the cigarettes are gone. I don't always smoke money on the cigarettes, but I do waste it on the vape.
Well, you have
Either way, go and put it
you have to do what you have to.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I know.
don't want to smoke, but everybody else is doing it, so I'm
Oh my God, that cannot be the reason why you smoke.
Do what?
Do not say that. Say I want to smoke, not because everyone else.
I don't want to smoke.
Well, don't smoke.
What else is there to eat?
Eat food.
Color.
Color.
Okay.
Anything. Yes, girl.
Okay.
If you can skip this one, you can skip the next one. And you can, if you can do that, you might just make it for the rest of the day. And wouldn't you be proud of yourself?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Freezing.
It gets cold, but I was hot earlier.
Oh my gosh, did you see me coming in this morning? I don't think you were up yet. Right when we got up, on outside smoke, and came in, and I sit down, I threw myself in a chair, like I can't fall. I'm burning up hot. I'm burning. And then I lay down on the couch, it's like, oh my gosh. Don't get Shonda, I said, please. And Shonda, do you want medical attention? I said, no, I don't. I said, well, go to your room. I had to get help walk into my room and get a wet wash bag and put on my head. That knocked me out of it.
Oh my God.
I got up, got dressed, was like, I feel good. I'm good, but now I'm freezing. Freezing.
Well, I think that,
I don't think I would.
you know how when you get sick or something and then you get better, like you're not sick anymore technically, but then you get tired or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. Because I was having like cold sweats when this class started. I mean, and just doing those little chores wore me out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to eat some Johnson.
Oh my God. I get to go home next week. And you get to go home like 5 days after that. And then a whole new group. And this will be
Regular OGs out there.
yes, out the door.
12 more days. Less than 2 weeks. Woohoo! One more Thursday.
Miss Casey, let me go see. I have to bother her. I'm bothering her every single time.
Oh no. Oh, she was at somewhere wasn't. She's back in the office.
I'll be bothering her all day.
I had a good little one-on-one with her. She's not gonna be here tomorrow.
Who?
Miss Casey.
What are you
She
talking
won't
about?
be back till
She's leaving?
she had your name on the paper.
Is she leaving?
No, she's not leaving, but no, somebody said today Miss Casey wasn't gonna be here, and I was like, I haven't had my one-on-one with her this week. I was gonna take that and be like, next week you got 2 times with me. But she said, who told you that? I was like, one of the girls said somebody told her. I don't know if it was staff or whatever. And she was like, no, she was tomorrow. She won't be here,
So we get
and she won't be back till Monday.
okay. Well, I'm gonna need her to.
But I saw your name because I saw it was. I know for a fact because it was a lot of K's. There's a lot of K's in her apparently. I saw my name. I think she had to talk to Christian, and but I saw your name, so I guess she just.
I'm waiting for my probation officer to call, or her to get a hold of my probation officer so I can, and I have to call my mom, make sure I'm here from my mom that I can go there until my housing is comes back. I'm just because I get so confused. I can't do it.
But you know she gonna come around and then you got process. You're in my process. I'm trying to do it with hair, but now I'm excited about doing my treatment plan.
Miss Candy, can I have a couple guys? Come on, couple. They're pretty addicting. I never thought I'd get to this point.
I know, huh?
Here, you get them out. So
I'll be here 60 days.
I'm starting to realize day by day I'm growing a little bit more and more.
I got one more Thursday after today. One more Thursday.
And
12 more days to be exact. Where'd my picture go that I was coloring, didn't it? I didn't want to call it. Stood out in front of him. Where'd it go? Okay. Bullshit.
I'm so tired of sandwiches.
Yeah, it's like I try to make it into a different meal.
That taco soup yesterday was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, I put cheese and chips in mine.
Yeah, that made it really
So it
good.
was like a taco soup with the tortilla.
So you gotta try to find a way to make it into something else. But I did. I cried that day. That's the one. You like, where's these emotions coming from? They was like, go eat a sandwich. I was like, I don't want a sandwich. Go eat a soup. I don't want no soup.
Yeah.
Then why they said the salad, I don't want a burger. And I just started crying. I was like, whoever cried over a burger?
Kenya.
They was, yeah. But they was like, that's your other emotion. I just came from Spindle Top and all kinds of stuff.
What is Spindle Top?
Mentally crazy. No, it's not them, but I mean, yeah.
I came from the bird.
They finally diagnosed me with some things I kind of always knew, but it didn't make sense. But I had to hear it out loud. It ain't a joke like I used to joke. Yeah, I'm bipolar. Come find out I am. But it's okay.
Do they have an outpatient mental health?
Yes.
What's it called?
Yeah, I'm just learning all the stuff they got.
I need to know and find out because if I'm going to be stationed down here, or they're living down here, like you say,
Oh.
and I need to switch my birth center to somewhere down here.
I love when I pick up a piece and it's just bang.
They're probably going to be nobody coming in today, huh?
No, they all here. Every person, every counselor, and everything.
I start seeing usually.
What? Oh, what is that? Huh? Is that coffee?
No.
Thank you.
That's exactly what I need this Can I bet that dog?
Y'all seen that on TikTok?
How y'all doing? God, I was back in my spot over at Christmas cat. The same fader.
I know, like, where's the
Oh yeah, yeah. What did you do last night?
I laid on the bed. I'm like, no, you're not.
Is that chips?
I got sugar.
So, lay on the ground, get in bed, lay She brought a soup and she bought for this box thing.
I'm a big cake girl.
Oh my god, you almost made it through.
I want to get out on the SEMA or whatever, and like, no bullshit, man. Fucking apartment. 12 to 2.
I was
Which I'm saying is that.
No, this is
land
not.
there.
Look how big this packet is. I did one seven.
One track.
One track. Finish my parenting. And graduate. And I know, right? Oh shit! I keep forgetting about that. Why did
My own, this right here. Oh, boy, I'm tired.
Yeah, like when we have like say how y'all just this stuff. Don't have to lay down. You can't lay down. That's what I was always wondering if like why they go smoke. If I take that little 10 minutes to lay down, but if they catch you in the bed, then you have to go back there. It's a break.
I think your free time should be able to go. I think so too.
I do.
Jamie does that like Monday.
Like I just went out there and smoked when I got out of this place. Like,
I got the munchies.
so
All that bad for your body. So that be hungry. Well, this only has 3 ingredients.
I got room. I just want the soda. I gave all my sodas away and now I'm like just craving soda. I have one with a whole 12 pack of Coke. Like, I'll give you a soda for a cigarette. I'll give you a soda for this. And now I don't have no soda.
I know I'm out of soda too. I'm like, I don't want to so bad. I need to call my daughter and have her cookie. Few more things.
I don't want to go to sleep. I
need a dollar.
He turned it around.
Yeah, who's that little
All right, we have about 1 minute before we start this.
Okay. How you feeling now? Any better?
I do feel a little bit better, and I think it's because you guys have been spraying that stuff, which is probably just as poisonous as the junk y'all just suck down your throat into your lungs. And I think all of that stuff has been getting into my body through my pores and everything, and whatever I had, it killed it.
This morning because they sprayed it going around and I walked through and I actually
Yeah.
And I felt it go up my nose and I was like, oh my god. And then I thought about it, I was like, you know what? That's probably good.
That's just good. Yeah. So we're back. Please make sure that you have your name on the signing in sheet, and that I have the signing in sheet up here, and it's here. So if you have been sloughing off and didn't get your name on there, please get your name on there. And remember, if you're in South, to make sure that Miss Sierra gets those sign-in sheets. Now look, we just went through a whole lot of really nasty stuff about what tobacco does to us. We need to know that information. We need to have that information so that we can make an informed decision about whether or not I want to smoke. That does not mean that you have to stop your favorite pastime. But it does mean that when you go and involve yourself, you go and participate in your favorite pastime, that you know what it's going to do to you. Right?
Yeah, cause you cough.
We got a back row back there that's just neat, man.
It'll get better. It's only my birthday.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Look, there's a lot of things out there that's going to help us to get away from this stuff. But here's some of the things that's going to happen to you when you quit smoking. Guess what's going to happen? What's the first thing that's going to happen when you quit smoking?
Withdrawal.
You are going to have withdrawals. You're going to be nasty to be around. This young lady here said, you're going to feel better. Look, the very first day that I quit smoking, I knew I had this knowledge in my brain that I was going to die. It was horrible. It was terrible. I was miserable. Look, it's just another addiction that we're trying to get out of our life. You know, it is something that's really, really, really important for us to do. We need to get it out of there because it's killing us. You know, and we've got a lot of things that we need to do. And so, you know, we don't need to die tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. We need to live as long as we can. But here's the deal about smoking, or about quitting smoking. It's not all about living, is it? It's also about quality of life. It's about, you know, feeling good, being good, having a good time, being able to walk more than 3 feet without having to stop and try to get some oxygen. right? It's about having good quality of life. But there are some things that's going to happen. Nicotine is one of the most addictive substances on earth. This is why it is so hard to quit. This is why we find it in the cigarettes that we know are killing us. We know it's going to kill us. We know that we're going to have a bad, the rest of our lives is going to be nasty. We know we're not going to have good quality of life if we continue to do this. If we're pregnant, we know we're killing our children. We do it anyway because of nicotine. And that's why the company put it in there. I asked earlier if anybody ever smoked a cigarette that was stale and had been in, what that, and a lot of people said, oh, yeah. Yeah. But do you get that? Yeah. Even though it's nasty, even though it's not my brand, even though it's stale, even though it was dropped in the toilet and stayed in the toilet long enough, we laid it up and let it dry out and everything, we still smoke.
Yeah.
Tastes a little crappy, but get it that way.
I get it. A little
But
crappy.
yeah, but we smoked it anyway. I remember back when I was a kid, I used to have to roll up my cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any money. You could buy a bugle for back in those days. It was like a nickel a pack, and you could make about 25, 30 cigarettes out of it, according to how much tobacco you put in that thing, roll it up. One of the greatest days in our lives back then is when somebody introduced us to those automatic roll-up machines.
Yeah, you pull the handle.
Yeah, you pull the handle back. Yeah. And it was just, doing what we can to get and they really didn't know how bad it was. Nowadays, we don't have any excuse at all. None. So if we show up at the hospital with lung cancer, we don't, we can't complain. Because we know. We've been told. We've been trained. So, So anyway, here's some of the things going to happen to you. It's one of the worst ones, one of the hardest things to quit. You're going to feel a need for a cigarette when the level of nicotine in your body starts to drop down. You build that nicotine up to a certain level. Some of us had it up higher. Some people smoke 3 or 4 cigarettes a day. Their nicotine levels like right here. Others of us smoke 3 or 4 packs a day. So our nicotine level's up here. But when that nicotine level starts to drop, guess what? We feel a need to fill that back up. So when we're sitting around and we're waiting on, the break to come, we get our cigarettes out, we put them on the desk, we get prepared, we're looking at the clock, we're starting to do things like that. That's because the nicotine level in your body is dropping. And your body knows this is more healthy. This is a good thing. But your limbic system, which is primitive and stupid, is telling you, if you don't have a cigarette here soon, you're going to die. How long can that boy talk? I mean, we should be, what, we're grown people. We ought to be able to smoke in here. All that kind of stuff that's going to be running through your mind. You ain't heard the last 20 minutes of the class because, you got to smoke. Here's what's going to happen as that nicotine level starts to drop. You're going to become irritable. You're going to become frustrated. You're going to become angry.
And hungry.
Because that level is dropping. You're going to suffer from anxiety. You're going to start getting real anxious. People don't tell me, hey, it's nice to go take a break and maybe have a cigarette. Could we just take a break and go, it'd be nice. People look at me in the eyeball and they get really, I need to smoke. We need okay, I understand that, and that's what your limbic system is telling you. Your mesolimbic system is saying if you don't smoke real soon, that level's going to go down to an unacceptable place and you're going to die. You're not going to die. If you do it, you're going to die. But see, your limbic system is really good at one thing: lying. And it's going to lie to you. It's going to lie to you. You're going and I've done this 4 or 5 times, but people don't listen to me very well. So why do you drown? Why do people drown?
Because I don't
The
know about
oxygen.
Because of what?
You need oxygen.
Water gets in their lungs.
They suffocate you.
Because they can't swim.
Water
But
gets
they
in their
can't
lungs.
swim.
Well, you can't hold your breath because your limbic system tells you you have to breathe.
Yeah. This young lady wrote it down at some point. Your limbic system is trying to save your life. Your limbic system is stupid. It really actually believes that if you don't get that cigarette, you're going to die. So it's screaming at you, we can't die today. We're going to get us some cigarettes because we can't die. You have to have some cocaine or you're going to die. If you don't get some bourbon, you're going to die. So it's yelling and screaming at you. So when you fall in the river and you're down there underwater, like all of those kids out in Kerrville were, your limbic system is yelling at you, breathe. You have to breathe. We can't die. You have to breathe. So your limbic system attempting to rescue you kills you.
Wow.
And that's what it's doing with your cigarette. It's trying to rescue you because it believes that that level dropping is going to cause you to die. So it's going to scream at you, smoke now, smoke now, smoke. It doesn't matter what he's saying. Get yourself, smoke now, or you're going to die. That's what it does. And so you're going to get irritable. You're going to get nasty. You're going to have anxiety attacks. You're going to get to the place where you're going to go smoke if you have to leave the facility. You're young. I ain't staying here. They won't let me smoke. You know. So you have all of that going on. You have difficulty, and this is the one that bugs me more than anything else. You have difficulty concentrating. Like, we're talking about cigarette. We're talking about nicotine that's going to kill us. And here's some lady said, what that Olander stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Can't concentrate on but what is that Olander? Olander is a plant that is poisonous. And if you eat it, it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
Oleander or
Oleander.
What is it?
A flower.
There's a book called Why Oleander is Never heard of that in my life.
Oh, I see the point. I get it now.
And it's, I spend 5 minutes explaining it. She said, hi. I was somewhere else. I didn't get that. Okay, so oleander is a plant. It has a little berry on it and all of that kind of stuff, and it is poisonous to humans and to aminals.
Yeah.
And if it has like 5% of some type of poisonous stuff in it, and it's enough to kill you if you eat it. So here's the deal: if you're going through the woods and you see a plant and there's a sign in front of that plant that says oleander, don't eat it.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, you also get, and this is when I was talking about difficulty concentrating. Yes, ma'am?
No, never mind.
All right, restlessness. Did you see?
Restlessness.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people, but especially this lady that was here. She couldn't sit still. She studied her big book. She wrote out a couple of her treatment plans. She was doing everything in the world because we're talking about, So you get depressed, ma'am.
Get a jacket.
Say it again.
Get a jacket.
Can you go get a jacket?
I was gonna ask him if he said something about.
Go get a jacket. Go get a good jacket.
I'm not gonna just.
Yeah, we'll wait on you. We'll wait. Depressed mood. See me lie to her? That's what your limbic system is doing. Your limbic system will do just like that and lie to you like a Persian rug. She'll lie to you, telling you you're going to die. You'll have difficulty sleeping. You'll have an increased appetite. You want to eat a little something. You're going to start coughing. Your body is trying to heal itself. Your lungs are trying to heal. As your lungs begin to heal and the cilia in your lungs begin to come back alive, they're not going to come back alive, but the ones that have been frozen, they'll begin to move again. It will cause you to cough. Why do you get a smoker's cough? Because you've killed a bunch of those cilia, you've frozen a bunch of those cilia, and all of that stuff, at night, if you take a flashlight shoot it up through you can see all sorts of stuff floating in the air. You breathe all that in. The celia's job is to pick that up and throw it out. Well, once you kill about a half of those because you're sucking junk into your lungs that ain't supposed to be there, and a whole bunch more of them are paralyzed, then they can't do their job anymore. And so your lungs fill up with junk and mucus and all this kind of stuff. So you have to cough up about half of your lung every morning and spit it out, right?
Yes.
It's nasty, but we do that to ourselves. So we start, and you also, when you start getting healthy again, you're going to have a runny nose, and you're going to have cravings, and you're going to have urges. Here's the deal. The reason we go through this is because you need to know what's going to happen to you if you make the very wise and very needed decision to get off of this drug. If you decide to do that, it's going to be crappy. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be horrible. How long is it going to be crappy, terrible, and horrible?
3 days.
About 3 days. About 3 days. The first day ain't too bad. You wake up that next morning, your limbic system is in a panic mode. If you don't use today, you're gonna die. Today, you just about dead now. You need, and it's gonna be yelling and screaming and all that. And you're gonna be mad, and everybody in your family is gonna be on your last nerve. And it's gonna be horrible. The third day, it's gonna start to lessen a little bit, and then on the fourth day and the fifth day, you can start your life over.
Yeah.
Now here's the deal: is that true for everybody?
No.
There's always, we're different people, male, female, old, young, it happens differently for different people, but on average, it happens that way. Now, there's always outliers. I know people who have quit smoking, they're bothered. They just put them down. But those people, I know one lady in particular, she just quit smoking. She laid them down. She never picked them up. And then after about 5 or 6 years, she decided she wanted to smoke a cigarette, one of the little brown cigars, and she smoked one. I said, well, that's dumb. She said, I don't need it, so she threw them back down. And so, to her, I don't know that she was ever addicted to them, but I don't know how her body works that way, but it did. Yeah. And there are other people that I know of 2 weeks later. So hopefully it'll be the easy one for you if you make that decision to do that. I quit smoking. I threw my cigarettes out of my car window, and I went home. And I poked my chest out, and I walked around for about 2 hours, and then I walked down the highway to find those cigarettes that I had chucked out because you can't buy another pack. They cost. So anyway, and when I was smoking, they cost too much. They always cost too much. They cost 33 cents a pack. That's how long ago it would. Yeah, 33 cents a pack. Yeah. So here's the thing. Most of these symptoms start the first or the second day you are off of tobacco. I mean, so they ain't going to hang out very long. They're going to start pretty quick. All of that junk will start happening to you pretty quick. They are their very first, and the very worst in that first week. For a lot of people, they'll be there a while. The symptoms disappear completely after 2 to 4 weeks. They're gone. After 3 days, you're going to start feeling better and all of that stuff. You're going to have a little something going on with you for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Yes, ma'am.
Well, why is it if you say you're in jail and you quit smoking for 6 months, do you instantly, your mind is like, I want to...
Well,
that's the first thing you go to.
Well, there's
not even 6 months. I've been off for like 4 years, and I still got out.
Yeah, there's a situation that we will study at some point, but you have to be very careful about studying it. It's called stupidity, and I don't know. I don't know. Look, if you're off of it, and I've seen that happen more than once. Okay, if you're off of it for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And then you go back out and start back up. You have to know you have to rebuild that addiction and all of that kind of stuff. Doesn't take all that long because you were right back there. You remember the first time you smoked a cigarette?
Yeah.
It did two things. Your body rebelled against it. Your body thought you were in a burning down house. You know, your body said, "Oh my God, where's all this smoke coming from?" And it's going, and it's screaming and yelling, "Get us out of here! Get us out of here! Don't do this! This is crazy! Help! 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 Help!" Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it stank and it was horrible. And what happened? You got high. First cigarette you smoked got you.
Yeah, get real lightheaded.
This is a drug. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we say, "Oh, I didn't get high. I just got lightheaded." That's high. That's
Yeah.
what high is. So you got high. And so you got high, and then in a couple of weeks, you forgot the fact that it's horrible, terrible, nasty, and ugly. You just remember how you got high. You may not remember it, but your limbic system does. And you see somebody else smoking, and you'll try it again. Yeah, you know, you might get kicked in the butt, but you enjoyed the trip. You know, yes, ma'am.
The first time that I smoked cigarettes was after I got high off the meth for the first time. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I just like had the urge to smoke, and I've been smoking ever since.
Well, see, methamphetamines help you to do something even worse.
Yes.
Now, yeah, that's a real bold statement to state that smoking cigarettes is worse than methamphetamine. Here's the deal: a lot of people die from methamphetamine use, right? A lot of people. It destroys a lot of lives.
Oh yeah.
More people die from the use of tobacco than methamphetamine.
Wow.
Well, because it's more widely acceptable to smoke cigarettes than it is to smoke meth. You know.
But you know, thankfully, it's getting less and less accepted.
Oh,
Getting more and more. So when I'm irritable, what do I do? Now here's the deal. After 2 or 3 weeks, the urges will become shorter. For most people, the urge lasts only about a few seconds. After they have been off tobacco for a month or longer, they don't have them like that anymore. Nicotine withdrawal symptoms can be managed with certain medications and behavioral coping skills. So here, when I'm irritable, what do I do? Somebody said smoke. When we're off of it, we avoid stressful situations.
It aggravates us too.
We practice relaxation techniques, and we exercise.
Yes.
And that's going to help us. Then, when we have a depressed mood, do something fun. Well, I enjoy smoking, but that's not what we're talking. Let's do something different. Get support from family and friends. Discuss with your medical people. Do something like that. We have difficulty concentrating. Again, we need to avoid stress. Plan your work and exercise. Exercise will help you to concentrate. Sometimes you get up dizzy. Sometimes when you stop smoking, it will cause you to be dizzy, a little lightheaded, and stuff like that, because that addiction is trying to get you going back to where it wants you to go, and so you'll be a little dizzy. So you got to realize that may happen. So what did you get up slowly? You see a lot of elderly people. They get up slowly. Why do you think that is?
Because they get lightheaded, woozy.
We get lightheaded, get woozy. Yeah, you know.
Get the shakes.
I had a guy the other day that was 85 years old in my class, and he got up real slowly, and he saw me looking at him. He says, "As you get older, you get the distance from your chair to your feet's a lot farther away."
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. So sometimes you're going to feel like you're going to have a heart attack. Your chest tightens up a little bit. So just relax. Practice some relaxation techniques, deep breathing, exercise, things like that. You're going to get tired. Getting off your drug is going to make you want to get tired or just make you tireder. Get more sleep, take naps, and don't push yourself at this time. Your body's going through some really serious changes, so you need to give it time. It will cause you to be a little bit hungry. You get the munchies. So what do? Munch. Drink a lot of water. We don't want to balloon up. We don't want to gain 40 pounds just because we got off cigarettes. I have had people tell me I started back smoking because I gained 10 pounds. Well, it ain't the smoking.
It's the munch.
It's the eating. You know, so get off of that and eat low-calorie snacks. Eat some, carrots?
Yeah, broccoli.
Broccoli, stuff like that. So it
Without
causes us to have stomach pains. We can get constipated. We can have a lot of gas. What does that tell you? If you stop smoking and it causes you to have stomach pains and it causes you to have gas and it causes you to be constipated, look at what that stuff is doing to your body. Oh my! That's how your body reacts when you get off of it. Oh my goodness!
Smoking causes gas.
Yeah, it'll cause when you quit. It'll cause your body to build gas, to make you constipated, give you stomach pains, all that kind of stuff. So you drink fluids, then you eat fruits and vegetables. Well, fruits and vegetables, will that take care of constipation? And why?
Yeah, the juices and water.
A lot of fiber.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fiber in fruits and vegetables. It can cause a cough, dry throat, runny nose. That is all temporary. We need to know that within a couple of 2 or 3 weeks, all that's gone and your life becomes 100% better. So drink fluids. Right? Always, we need to be drinking fluids. See, this is my fluid. Y'all see, that's water. Y'all see it look a little cloudy.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. Why is it cloudy?
You got like an electrolyte thing.
Yeah, that's got a propel thing in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So propel makes water taste more gooder, and it's got some stuff in there your body needs. So, drink fluids. Eat sugar-free candy. Just keep something running down your throat.
Peppermint.
Yeah, peppermints. Use cough drops. They do make sugar-free cough drops and sugar-free peppermints. They do make those. Funniest thing to me, I go over to the dollar store sometimes, walk down through the cookie aisle, and they have sugar-free sugar cookies. How you have a sugar-free sugar wafer? Yeah, but it's sugar-free sugar wafer. All right. Yeah. Boy, that's a lie, so I steal that.
That sounds bad.
You have difficulty sleeping, reduce your caffeine consumption. Stop, we don't need to drink so much sodas, and we don't need to drink so much coffee and all that stuff. Now, there are a few things, and we talked about all of the ugly stuff that went into your body because we're smoking, right? So what does all that stuff cause? To your health, what does that do to you?
You can get fatigue.
To fatigue, yeah, you get tired. Yeah. You're smoking to make you tired.
It'll cause more health problems.
It'll cause a lot of health problems.
Yes.
Yeah, and the thing about it is being sick will make you tired. Look at it, hold back. They quit talking and just went to sleep. So, so let me go through this real quick. We don't have a lot of time. So let me go through this real quick.
Smoke and sleep.
Tobacco can be harmful to almost every part of your body. Many of these problems can be completely reversed if you stop using tobacco. Here's a list of the most common problems of tobacco use, going from your head down to your toes. So in your head, it causes strokes.
Yeah.
It causes strokes by blocking or breaking of a blood vessel in the brain. It causes mouth and throat cancer. It causes cavities and loss of teeth. It causes bad breath. Stanky mouth. It causes a decrease in your night vision. If you smoke, you can't see as well at night. It makes your skin, we all know that smoking makes your teeth turn yellow, makes your skin turn yellow as well.
And your walls.
You look jaundiced.
That's what they tell you, your eyes clear.
Yeah. So it causes nose congestion and infections. And one of the things it causes a lot of breathing problems. It causes wrinkles.
Yeah. Bags underneath your eyes.
So it causes wrinkles real bad. In your lungs, it causes cancer. Tobacco is blamed for up to 85% of all lung cancers. And not all lung cancers come from the use of tobacco, but about 85% of them do. Emphysema and chronic bronchitis, like you said, breathing problems and stuff. A worsening of asthma.
Yes.
If you have asthma and you smoke, something ain't right. You know, if you have asthma, you can't breathe anyway, and you smoking cigarettes and marijuana, and you sucking on a vape. It's not the asthma that's your major problem. That's up a little higher. Anyway.
I had an Amy pushing her little breathing. What's the oxygen tank?
Yeah.
I don't want to quit smoking around the oxygen tank.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
My stepmom would be like, my dad would be like, y'all don't give, my stepmom being sick, she'd be like, don't give Lahoma no cigarettes now. And then you were come here, she goes out the door to go to work. Here I come sitting down, and sometimes I'll go outside and smoke. But as soon as I come back, she said, "Did you save me a little piece of that cigarette?"
That's how my grandpa.
She said, "Don't tell your dad."
Yeah, people will try to get you into their addiction and get them to help you. It causes lung infections. If it doesn't cause cancer in your lung, it will cause an infection in your lung. In the heart, smoking causes congestive heart failure.
Yeah.
It causes heart attacks. It causes increased blood pressure and heart rate.
Yeah.
In your stomach, intestine, it causes stomach cancer. See, a lot of times people are surprised that a bunch of these cancers all over my body can be caused by the use of tobacco, because they're used to people saying this causes lung cancer. It also causes stomach cancer, back cancer, kidney cancer, all of those kinds of things. It causes ulcers. It will cause you to have a lot of heartburn and all of that stuff. In your pancreas, it causes cancer. Circulation in your arms, in your legs, in your feet. It causes reduced circulation in arms, legs, feet, sometimes lead to amputation in severe cases. We don't think about use of tobacco doing that. In your bones, it causes increased bone thinning, leading to a high risk of broken bones. You know, you see a lot of old people with broken
It makes you have
hips,
like thin bones that thin your bones out.
Yeah, bone density becomes a problem as you're getting older. People who smoke, their bone density becomes, it gets less and less over time. So, genitals, urinary system, cancer in your kidneys, bladder, reproductive organs, erectile dysfunction in men, and sexual dysfunction in lady people. So, here's the big thing that we want you to get a hold of today. How long have we been smoking? Like I said, my brother smoked for 50 years.
Wow.
He started when he was 5, and he quit when he was 55. So we get to a place where it's just plain too late.
You can buy a house with that money.
You can. But here's the deal. It's never too late to quit. If you're 85 years old and been smoking for 65 years, you still can get some quality of life out of stopping something that's causing all of these problems in your life. And also, right now, I am really amazed. I was at the store, this probably 2 or 3 years ago, and there was a lady buying a pack of cigarettes. She's just buying one pack of cigarettes, and she was looking through her purse and all this stuff, trying to find change to get enough money. It's like $13, $14 for that pack of cigarettes. And, and she was digging, and she kind of looked at me. No. Now, I'll buy you a hamburger, you're hungry, but I'm not going to buy you something that's I'm not going to be part of your demise. I'm not going to do that. Right. I think she finally found it. They just let her go with it because she left out of there with them. But after you quit using, your body's going to start to heal. Immediately. Your body's going to start to heal, and you'll start seeing improvements very quickly. It's never too late. You'll start seeing benefits the very first day you quit using drugs, and these benefits will increase the longer you remain tobacco free. Now, let me share a couple of really quick things with you. We may have to do some of this tomorrow, but I know how much you guys are enjoying all this. We'll do it again. Look, here's the deal. Listen, it doesn't take a long time. 20 minutes. 20 minutes after you quit using, you get a reduction in your heart rate and your blood pressure starts to go down. The temperature of your hands and your feet will start returning to normal. 20 minutes. That's less than half an hour.
Cigarettes?
So we're already getting better after that smoke break.
What are we talking about?
Cigarettes?
Yes.
But you say
Tobacco.
They're gonna go put it right back in.
That
Yeah.
when we stop using tobacco after 20 minutes, we start having it. After 12 hours after you quit,
12 hours?
after 12 hours, the carbon monoxide level in your blood drops. Remember, the cigarettes have carbon monoxide in them.
Okay.
And we're smoking them, so we're building that level up, right? But 12 hours after you quit, that starts to drop. 24 hours, another 12-hour period. Anxiety and irritability may start because you've got some of that withdrawal from nicotine going on, but they get better the longer you're off the junk. 2 to 3 days out after you quit, nerve endings in your body start to regenerate because tobacco destroys nerve endings. They start to regenerate, and you may notice a return to your sense of taste and your sense of smell. Because tobacco takes away your sense of taste, can't taste anything, and takes away your sense of smell. You don't know how good food tastes, you don't know how you don't even know what it smells like.
That's what I was gonna say. Sometimes you don't feel like even eating.
Right.
You can't really taste
It ain't good when you eat it. So, you're starting to smell things better. You're starting to taste things again. Anger, anxiety, and irritability from nicotine withdrawal may be at its worst after a couple of days. Nicotine replacement, nicotine gum, all that stuff may help. A week after you quit, tobacco cravings and urgings are a whole lot less. They're about to go away. They're shorter in duration. 2 weeks after you quit, your blood circulation in your gums and teeth are similar to a non-smoker. You remember when you smoke, it can cause you to lose your teeth, have all sorts of dental issues. You should no longer have as much anger, anxiety, and irritability from withdrawal. Cravings and urgings are going away. 1 to 3 months after you have quit smoking, your heart attack risk has started to drop and your lung function is improving. The blood circulation in your body has improved. Walking is easier. So if you had a cough when you smoked, the cough should be gone by now. 1 to 9 months after you quit, smoking-related nasal congestion, fatigue, shortness of breath, all that should be going away. The cilia, those little hairs in the lung, throat, and nose, they're all up in there, have regrown to some extent in your lungs, and now your lungs can remove irritants and mucus, which reduces infections and stuff like that. 1 year after you quit smoking, that seems like a long time. The risk of cardiovascular disease, heart attack, and stroke have dropped to less than half that of a person who's still smoking.
But 1 year after you quit, your whole overall life gets better.
So 10 to 15 years after you quit smoking, your risk of having a stroke or heart attack has dropped to a similar rate as a non-smoker.
Yeah.
So your risk of lung cancer is 30 to 50% less than a continuing smoker. If you continue to smoke, if I quit, which I did, then my chance of having a stroke or getting cancer and all of that stuff is 50% less than yours if you continue. I mean, yours is 50% more than mine. So you can get it a whole lot. It's a whole lot more than a whole lot more of a chance of you getting it than me getting it. Your risk of death from lung cancer is half of the risk if you're an average 1 pack a day smoker. Your risk of cancer is similar to a person who's not smoked, and your risk of mouth, throat, and esophageal cancer has reduced significantly. Your risk of tooth loss has decreased, and 20 years after you quit, if you are a female, woman type girl person, your risk of death from smoking related causes, including cancer and lung disease, is the same as a person who never smoked. So quitting is a big, big deal.
So if I quit now and I quit and then at 70, then I won't die from cigarettes?
Probably not. You may have an issue because you got a little something red in your hair.
That's pink out here.
All right. So how you going to quit and not lose your brain before you get away from all of that mess? I'm going to tell you one thing that we can do. This is important, and it's called the DEADS program. So if you keep smoking, you're going to be dead. Okay. But if you stop smoking, you need to use the DEADS program to stay off of it. Here's the DEADS program. We're going to do it real quickly. Okay. It's the DEADS strategy. First is D, delay. You know, we talked about getting over urges and getting over those kinds of things. The most important thing that we need to understand about it is that the urge goes away. How long does a craving last? How long? No, don't know.
30 minutes.
30 hours. The longest it'll last.
24.
Oh, a craving for drugs?
Yeah.
20 years.
1 hour.
1 hour.
1 hour.
About 1 hour. We can usually do most anything for 1 hour. Just know that it's going. Look, if I have this horrible, terrible craving, just know that an hour from now I won't have it. So this is not going to last forever. It feels like it will, but it won't. The next in DEADS is E, escape. Remove yourself from the situation or event that led to the urge. If you're watching one of those old movies and Humphrey Bogart is smoking cigarette after cigarette, cut that old man off. He's been dead for years. Go watch something else. Or do something else. Remove yourself from the situation. If you're in a room where others are smoking, leave. Leave. Get up, go take a short walk. The A stands for avoid. Avoid situations where you'll be tempted to smoke. I always smoked when I was using. If I don't use, so I don't smoke. This will be particularly important in the first days and weeks after you quit. If you regularly go places where there's a lot of smoking, don't go there. Pretty easy. And the D is distract. DISTRACT. Get busy. Get back to what you were doing before the urge hit. There may be other things you enjoy doing that are incompatible with smoking. Do something else. You can try working in the yard, reading a book, walking, taking a shower, working. Do something. Just distract yourself. Look, I lost my stuff because I was distracted.
By talking about smoking.
Yeah. And then the last thing is S, which is substitute. When you feel like you want a cigarette, substitute something else for a cigarette. Try sugar-free candy, sugar-free gum, especially if you're watching your weight. You could also eat a piece of fruit, drink a glass of water.
What was this? I'm sorry.
Eat a sugar-free candy.
Substitute. Sugar-free candy. Chew on something like a straw or a toothpick. The trick is to come up with something you like that can easily be substituted for the cigarette. Said that one time in group, somebody said, you could use a cigar.
I've seen people just chew
That sounds like-
just chewed on it.
That sounds like
Yeah,
a Teresa.
Yeah,
One of them
he didn't
chew-
smoke it no more.
Yeah.
But he just chewed on
All
it.
right, does that sound like a good idea?
No, everything at one time.
It's not a good idea. She said she knew somebody that was smoking, but they quit smoking. They got a cigar and were just chewing on the cigar, but they never lit it. They're still chewing tobacco,
Yeah.
and they're still getting the tobacco.
Yeah, he was addicted to chewing the cigar.
Yeah, and it will cause you some stuff. All right. So we have 2 minutes. Do we have questions, comments, or snide remarks?
Well,
Dismiss us quietly, and let's see if they stay in while we're all smoking.
Yeah, leave real quietly, because what I need to do is make sure I know who they, because they ain't getting credit for the group. Can't sleep in my group, so they get no credit for the group. So, all right. Remember to turn your, over south, turn your sign-in sheets into Miss Sierra, please.
Thank you.
And appreciate you guys, and we will show back up tomorrow.